Hello legends, heroes, and poopy heads. Welcome to the Omni Flash channel, where Omni Flash will take gaming to the next level.
Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Omni Flash, and I am your guide to Perfect World Mobile. Today we're going to do a fun video on Dusk Twilight True. Dusk Twilight True is that famous dungeon, level 119. It's a very fun dungeon. Be sure to do this every single day. You will get one of those scarlet fruits, blazing fruits, and that will make you stronger. Every single run you are guaranteed one of those, plus you're guaranteed a Dusk illusion scroll. If you have 55 of those, you can combine it into a 119 Dusk material, legendary material that you can use to craft 119 legendary gear. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out, and comment below so to be entered to win a $25 iTunes or Google Play gift card April 15th, 2020. Today's run is going to be done within 10 minutes, plus we're going to do it a little differently. I am going to tank as a Demon Barbarian. Now, Demon Barbarian is very limited in aggro. It can only taunt one monster, so it's very difficult to hold aggro on multiple monsters, but it's doable as long as your team does not attack the monsters before you attack them. You actually will be able to hold aggro. Also, if you have monkey pets, you'll be able to stun a group of monsters, and it's not really keeping aggro, but it keeps the mobs grouped up so they can't actually move towards your party. And if the monsters do escape and start moving towards your party, what your wizard should do is fire off a phoenix, and that will knock all the enemies back towards the tank. Ideal team composition minimum requirements is probably about a 350k BR cleric, and you need one archer. Your DPS should be around 500k, and really it just depends on how much damage they can do. Yeah, some DPSs are built wrong. If your damage dealers are built too defensive and not enough attack, VR may not be accurate. Now, this first boss is one of the toughest bosses in this dungeon. This boss and the last boss, they're pretty tough. The tank should go and grab the aggro. There's two ways to do this. You can either kill the boss in the middle, and you have the team moving together left and right and killing the trumpeters, because the trumpeters, they spawn additional monsters. You want your team to clear out those trumpeters as quickly as they can, and then once the trumpeters on both sides are gone, concentrate on Grindmouth. The second method is to pull Grindmouth to the right or left trumpeter. So this way, if you're attacking the trumpeter or Grindmouth, it will hit both, and you will be dealing damage to both at the same time. However, if you are tanking over there and your DPS isn't positioned correctly, and you miss interrupting King's Roar. The monsters does a King's Roar. It's a cone shape attack, and it does a ton of damage plus stuns you. That can wipe your team. If you don't interrupt it, that is a problem. If you have a Blade Master, the Blade Master can flash kick to interrupt. If you are the tank, you can also interrupt using Fury Swipe. A second problem where if you're a cleric you might have trouble is during ground tremor. You'll be warned to use your defensive cooldowns. If you're a weaker cleric, it's recommended you use something like Spark. You use your Chi Burst to block damage for 2 seconds, and you'll be more powerful heals to heal up the rest of your team. You can also use regeneration. However, if you're weaker and you have less HP, you might get KO'd. So use both depending on how much strength you have. Grindmouth also shoots out whirlwinds. Don't get hit by the whirlwinds. if you are a weaker team, if you just hit 119 and you have lower BR, it's recommended that you bring in Solaris Pearls, Golden Poppy in order to increase your vitality, as well as Tranquilizer or Almighty Dews to block damage. Bring those in because it's worth it. It is worth spending on Almighty Dew or Tranquilizers to block some damage whenever there's some AoEs that can wipe the team. Oh, another thing is, a minute ago we grabbed Johan. Be sure to grab Johan. Johan's right over here. We grabbed him and we pulled him over to these monsters. It's just a little faster. Johan will follow you to this group of monsters. And Johan, once he dies, it buffs your team, everyone who's close by. So make sure that your team is close by to Johan when Johan dies. That buff prevents the next boss, the second boss, Soth. Soth will try to hypnotize you, and what this will do is it will make your entire team do nothing for like 10 seconds. And what will happen is you'll run out of time. If you run out of time, Soth will enrage and start one-shotting your team. This second boss is a measure of DPS, whether or not your DPS can kill her before she enrages and destroys your team. Now, even if she enrages, there are some things that you can do as a tank. You can Chi Burst, that will prolong you from dying for another 2 seconds. If you have a goblin, that shield can prevent her attacks. Her attack, she has a long-range projectile attack, so you can sort of kite her. And if that goblin shield comes up, or if you use your Chi Burst or Tranquilizer, you can block a few of her attacks before you die. So that can prolong Soth even when she's enraged for maybe 12 seconds before she starts destroying your team. Now, she does have a fear, which doesn't really... Just make sure that the fear is targeting towards the back. I always tank her on top of the platform and have her face the back so that the fear is always away from your team. The only thing your team has to really stay awake for is that Sand Vortex. That does a lot of damage. If you're caught in a Sand Vortex, be sure to Chi Burst and jump out. Alright, so she's done. The next boss is pretty tough. He will be surrounded by an army of giant monsters. They have clubs and they want to kill you. They will leave you alone as long as you don't touch them. If you actually move into their aggro range, they will start beating on you. The only way to sort of get out, if you accidentally aggro one of these giants, what you can do is you can run towards your tank. And hopefully your tank will be able to grab that aggro and you might survive. So your tank may be able to. So whenever I see someone accidentally aggro one of the giants, I run towards them as the tank and I start doing AoE skills. If you run towards them, just run right next to the giant and start doing AoE skills, you might be able to take aggro and save the team. Alright, so the way that I usually tank, I usually stand. The way you tank this last boss is I always tank from the left or right side. This way when he does his cone attack, it won't hit anybody. And one of your DPSs, it always grabs a DPS and it will send them into some sort of mirage pool, and you have to kill the elementals as quickly as possible. If you don't kill the elementals quick enough, that team member will die and your cleric will have to heal them up. So there is an element of RNG here. If your highest DPS is sent to the mirage pool, you probably won't deal enough damage to lower the boss's health to 50%. And if you don't, you get Divine Punishment. When Divine Punishment comes up, you have to spread out. Your team has to spread out so that not everyone gets a ton of damage. If you're a cleric, be sure to stack many stacks of Iron Heart on everybody for Divine Punishment. if you are everyone else, the tank won't take that much damage out of Divine Punishment. The rest of the DPS will. They will have to probably use Almighty Dew, Chi Burst, and a Health Pot. Alright, so after the boss goes down to 50%, we'll change into Soth or Grime Mouth. They do basically the same thing as they did before in the dungeon. If the Soth, if it drops a sand vortex right underneath you, you just go ahead and drag that boss, drag Soth away from the sand vortex so your team doesn't get hurt. Alright, so when it goes back to the last boss, the Mirage Lord, you gotta avoid the drain manas. One thing, if you are healing this boss, I would recommend that you keep moving. You are the healer, so you cannot get caught inside red circles, or you may turn into a zombie. If you turn into a zombie, you can't heal your team. You want to use skills that are quick, so don't use Heal Beam. Rely mostly on Iron Heart if possible. You can also use Wellspring and Thunder Heal. Now, if it takes too long, the army of giants will begin closing in. So you have to walk back and forth to avoid those red circles. Don't go right or left or you'll aggro those giants. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and comment below. I'll see you in the next video.